Good evening. I am back, and we are back. Just like to thank my co-host Ed for stepping in. I'm practicing presenting skills for his new slot on NFL UK TV when it eventually comes out, and charges everyone £50 a month. Because what else can they squeeze out of us to watch something we like? Ed, we're here. We're back. Well,
Hmm.
2/3 of us. Nathan has gone off auditioning for the Colts QB2 because apparently Anthony Richardson and Riley Leonard both don't want it. So he's going battling with Easton Stick for QB2. How's it going?
Yeah, yeah, good until you mentioned until you said that bit there. Not that Nathan's not here because miss him, and it would be nice that the three of us can actually sit down and talk some football at some point this summer. But such is life. It's been a really good summer, and I'm glad you're back hosting because, as I was saying before we came on air, I did feel the pressure massively of trying to get it. To do it whilst you were away. You make it look a lot easier than it actually is, mate. So yeah, kudos to you. But it's good to be back. We're only a couple of weeks out now. Um, we're not going to talk about the Colts disaster class last weekend, are we?
Did we play last weekend?
I don't think so. No. Well,
Uh,
I don't think our defense realised we were playing last weekend because they didn't show up. And the O line had clearly been watching tape of the Houston Texans O line from last year because that was pretty. It was pretty poor.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, we don't have
But,
to talk about it other than that.
I mean, tonight's show, ladies and gents, everyone watching, thank you first off. Um, Join in, like, subscribe, go and find podcasts, talk to people because that's how we grow the game. And that's why we love it. And it makes for better content. The show tonight will be about the NFC East. We have been, if you've not caught up, catch up, go back, pause now, go back to the beginning of the series. We've been doing a road trip around the NFL, starting with the AFC North and working out around Ed and Denver Dave from the Final Down podcast, which is a great podcast. Go and check them out. I know they love us, and we certainly love them guys and girls over there. You guys talked about the NFC North.
We did.
Um, so just do you want to quickly summarise for me what the NFC North was looking like?
Yeah, it was a fun show. I thought I had a relatively hot take because I said I thought Green Bay. I put them finishing last in the division. It then turned out that Dave also had Green Bay finishing last, and we had a few people watching, and they put in the comments, and they all had Green Bay finishing last. So what I thought was a relative hot take turned out to be quite a mediocre standard take. But yeah, it was a fun show. Go back and watch. Always good having someone like Dave on. Very knowledgeable. Very good insight. So yeah, definitely go back and check it out. But yeah, we both had the Lions winning that division, and we both had Green Bay finishing last. I can't remember what we did in between with the Vikings and the Bears. I think I had the Vikings and the Bears. I can't remember now. But yeah, go and check it out. I
Oh,
can't
names.
remember. So go and
Yeah.
watch it. That's what I'd say. Go and watch it. I've been away since then. But I'm excited to get into it tonight. And I'm excited that we're edging ever closer to the start of the new football season because it feels like this is like the longest time. Do you know what I mean? Like you're so close.
But so
Yeah,
far,
exactly that. Yeah,
yeah,
it feels like it's right there, but actually it's still like a good couple of weeks away.
yeah,
So, but we're not far away now. We're not far away now. I'm excited.
we're not far away. And just a quick shout out to Nathan, who recently appeared on the Colts Beard podcast, which is Sam Hatch. For UK Colts fans, you will obviously know who he is. He does a lot for the game, and for us guys over here, he's the shining light of Colts fans. The small amount of us that are in the UK, with Andreas and Christoph, who are also great guests, and they did a great show. That's the Colts Big podcast. Go and check them out as Nathan appeared, and like we say, it's a good laugh.
That was a
Um,
that was a good one
but
as well. Actually, I watched it. He obviously Nathan was brilliant as he often is, but it was a good show as well. They did some stuff on who they think is going to make the Colts 53. So good episode if you get a chance to go and watch it. Definitely.
and like Ed said, the Colts didn't play last week, so that's enough of the Colts talk. Because it's the usual rumour mill, crap mill, what comes around, journalists trying to get clicks. Alec Pierce, will he not play? Great news, he's off put, but will he not play? Will
Yeah.
he play? who cares? We'll see week 1.
Well said.
So let's get on to the NFC East. We might end out with a little bit of Colts. So we'll do the NFC East first, and then we'll let everyone go, and we'll get serious and talk about the real contenders for the Super Bowl. Ed, you didn't want to take the Commanders, so I took to my behest the Commanders and the Giants. The Commanders and the Eagles, and you took the Giants and the Cowboys. My summary of the NFC East, which is always the same, it could be a division where everyone goes 8 and 9 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It could also be a division where you have one team on 12 wins and the rest on like 4 wins. It just feels like every year that division could go that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, when we were sorting the teams out earlier, you did say, who do you want? And I said, I'm not bothered. And then I followed up with straight away with, as long as it's not the Commanders. And I honestly, to kind of put some context around that, I don't know why. I've got nothing against the Commanders. I just didn't want to do them. I've got no idea why. Maybe it's because they're losing to us week 4. I'll do my analysis of them closer to the time. But yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those. I think it's a division that obviously the Eagles have won it the last 2 years. But I think I'm right in saying up until then, I think it was like 20 years in a row, there was a different winner every single year. It's like the most mad competitive division in football. You got four former Super Bowl champions. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sure there is. So if there is, somebody tell me straight away. But I don't know if there's any other division in football that that boasts 4 Super Bowl winners. The AFC South definitely doesn't, because there's only one in that division.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know another division in football that has all 4 of its teams have won a Super Bowl. So it's a super competitive division. And like you say, I think you're absolutely right. Every team can go 8 or 9 every single year because it's such a tough division. But yeah, who do you want to start with?
Well, shall we start with the cursed chalice who you didn't want, the Commanders, and I'll go first?
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah.
Let me just flick my notes on because I didn't handwrite them this week. Okay, so the Commanders this year, from what I was looking into, so obviously head coach Dan Quinn and the GM Adam Peters go into their 3rd season together, and they are hoping for a much better year than last year. So their sort of plan to like attack this was, let's not blame the 2 guys at the top. Let's blame the people directly below us. So they sacked both. Well, they got rid of both coordinators and got in 2 new ones. On the offensive side of the ball, they took David Blau, and the defensive side of the ball, they took Daronte Jones. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. Not that the wrong place watching. But, so it's sort of, they went 5. So the year before last, they had a decent year and everything looked rosy again in Commanders land. It was going the right way. Obviously, Jaden Daniels was looking good. It was exciting. Ooh, maybe Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry coming back to it. Maybe. And then it just dropped off a cliff last year. So they sort of triggered this like heavy rebuilding. Like I say, they sort of did a Chris Ballard and done it. It's not my fault. It's all you. I'm going to avoid any responsibility. But this feels like the sort of my opening, I guess, before I let you jump in with any questions, is it feels like they've tied themselves to Jaden Daniels. It feels like all 3 are tied together, and this year for them is, listen, it's either playoffs or all 3 are potentially out of the league. And I know that sounds tough. Jaden Daniels probably get a job somewhere, but I don't know. Looking into it, I understand why he didn't want to do the Commanders, because it sort of feels like the Colts 5 years ago. Does that make sense? So you're like, okay, yeah, we got Phillip Rivers. God, it's even longer than 5 years ago. Not this recent stint of Phillip Rivers, the one before. When was that? 2018 I believe so. Maybe 8 years ago now.
Was it that long ago, Philip Rivers?
Yeah, because it would have been when Luck retired. Last time we made the
remember.
playoffs.
Bloody hell. Right, okay, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah,
anyway.
we go down the Colts rabbit hole every time. I got told off by Dave for doing that when he was here.
It sort of feels like that where, yes, they got a quarterback who they know could potentially beat him or potentially get him there. They've got a head coach who's like, yeah, he's a good guy. He keeps a lot. It just, as a Colts fan, I'm gonna say it feels a bit too familiar, especially with the off-season additions they have. But before I get into the off-season additions, did you have any questions about the Commanders?
No questions as such. I suppose it's just more. I think that Jaden Daniels' injury last year was obviously a big loss. I think
Dave knows more about us than knows more about the Colts than us.
Hi, Dave.
2020. Anyway, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think that whole COVID period just kind of doesn't feel like a real time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't count as real time. But anyway, I think Jaden Daniels' injury didn't help. Zach Ertz obviously got a cruciate ligament injury as well, so his weapon disappeared. I think their season just kind of petered out. Obviously, getting to an NFC Championship game in Jaden Daniels' rookie season was like such a high that they were always struggling to kind of get back to that level, in my opinion. I think it was always gonna be difficult to get back there. I agree with what you're saying for the coaches. I think they'll probably give Daniels a bit more time because he does have potential, but obviously I don't think he's won himself many friends. If you've seen that whole drama with the cease and desist with LSU, it's just, you're only in your third year. You've had a really bad injury last year. You missed half of your second year, and now you've got all this off-field drama. I'm fully expecting him to sort of throw for 6,000 yards when he comes to Tottenham against the Colts in October. Now I've said this, but
obviously,
but yeah, I just feel like it all kind of how everything went so right in his rookie season. Everything kind of went so wrong in his second season. So I think you're right. I think there's a lot of pressure, especially on Dan Quinn going into this year. I agree.
Yeah, so like I say, a lot of the pressure now is on the head coach and GM, because they've got rid of everyone else. Like, you guys are the next on the chopping block. I was a bit surprised. Maybe not surprised, because I guess nobody expected Sonny Styles to fall as far as he did to the Commanders. But I don't know, Mekhi Lemon was still on the board. I'm sure there's a few others that I just can't remember the name of right now. Attacking weapons they could give Jaden Daniels to help, because they're 1-2 wide receivers, Terry McLaurin and Stephon Diggs.
I can't believe he's gone there.
It's a great 1-2 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a bit like they might sell a few seats, sell a few shirts, which I'm guessing goes into transfers nowadays or free agent signings. It is thought about because it is a business at the end of the day.
It is, yeah.
But like you say, when they come to London and then go back to the US, I don't know who they've got after us or whatever. Are they going to be the guys to step up and go again? I struggled to go walk up and down the stairs at the age of 30. So, it feels a bit like they're trying to rely on yesteryear to get them back to the promised land. And like I say, the defense doesn't impress me too much. I'm sort of looking. Sonny Styles is a sort of their CJ Allen, and he needs to be a leader day one. Essentially, needs to be a captain day one. And if he can't bring that, I fully expect him to. I really rated Sonny Styles going into this draft. I didn't think it would go as low as the Commanders. It's just a big ask for a rookie. You don't want to be asking your rookies to be the guys that you're realistically. I've sort of got them because, like I say, because I think it's a competitive division. I've got them at 8 wins. I think
Okay.
Vegas. I think the under over was 7.5. So
Oh, okay. So yeah, about
I'm in the
about on.
ballpark somewhere. Yeah. One of the losses will definitely be in London against the Colts. So come back to that. But that's about it realistically. If I sort of had to give them a grade, which are pretty useless, a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay, but for a franchise with a quarterback with an injury problem,
Mm,
um, 10 minutes starts earlier with a GM who's the urgency's never been higher to win,
yeah.
with a head coach who still has massive questions over his head coach ability.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Commanders fans, it's looking all a bit too familiar.
Yeah. Is it the winner gets to sack their GM first in the London game? Is that what we get?
El Sacchio.
El Sacchio, yeah. Well, they'll be used to that at the Tottenham Stadium, won't they?
Hopefully, Derby gets that by then. Oh, anyway, okay, whatever. So that's about it for the Commanders. I mean, a good 10 minutes there. Like, I don't want the Commanders fans, if by any chance any Commanders fans watching this, to think I'm being down. I think if you've gone 5-12, I saw people like, oh, they could be contenders with 7.5 wins. That's not contending. I'm sorry.
No.
That's like me saying the Colts are contending going 8-9. It's not. So maybe then veterans can show the. You want your veterans to show the young guys the right way. Is Stephon Diggs really that guy? What's Dave put here? Commanders win the East, best QB in the division. I'm not doubting his talent. For 1 second, I'm not doubting that. That's a steaming hot take. I'm not doubting Jaden Daniels' talent. I'm doubting he can stay fit because seen it all before.
Yeah, we are particularly PTSD as Indianapolis fans when
Yeah.
it
So
comes to.
maybe I'm just a bit scarred. I don't want to. I don't want to open
Yeah.
myself up to the belief that the Commanders can do it, but they'll be better than
we
last year. But will it be
Okay.
enough?
That's a great way to sum it up. I think we spoke when we talked about the NFC last time about the strength of the NFC in general, and I think you're right there about 7.5 wins. 7.5 wins will get you nowhere near in any division or conference, but especially I think the NFC this year is going to be quite competitive. So yeah, I don't see them. That's not going to get them anywhere near. Should we move on to the New York Giants?
Yeah, let's do it.
The New York Football Giants all change in New York for Big Blue after losing the superstar quarterback Daniel Jones. I'm not going to just talk about Indianapolis the whole way through. So it is all change in New York though this off season. Obviously, Brian Doble, your friend Dable,
Is that in the South?
paid the price. He's now joined us in the South. He's now joined Tennessee, hasn't he, as offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But obviously, John Harbaugh's gone in as head coach, which I think is a bit of a coup for New York, to be fair, from where they were last year, 4-13, to be able to get a coach like that go in, who has got, without doubt, a winning pedigree, and will be charged with, when I look at it, a pretty talented roster that needs, probably a bit of experience and guidance. When I was looking through the roster, the amount of first round picks that they've got within that roster is unbelievable, which is probably not surprising considering how crap they've been for the last few years, and they've been able to pick relatively high. But I think John Harbaugh's first real job is going to be trying to harness some of that youthful exuberance into a winning team. It's just unfortunate for him that the NFC East is such a competitive division. Looking at their record last year, they were absolutely hopeless. 4-13. They did beat the Eagles, which I suppose is always good for them. That's. But they lost to the Broncos. Do you remember that game? I think it was they went into the game, and I went into like the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They were up, and then it was like such an exciting game for everybody other than a New York Giants fan when they just completely like capitulated. So they drafted two players at the first with they've got two. Sorry, start that again. this year's draft, they've got 2 top 10 picks in. Yeah, I
I
didn't just
won't
say
talk
that for
about the
you, Dave,
Ravens
but
goals.
um, sorry, two top 10 picks. They
Yeah.
fortified their offensive line with pick number 9, Francis Maginoa. I don't think that's how you pronounce
Yeah.
it, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. To go with Arvell Reese, who came at number 5, another former Ohio State player like Sonny Styles.
Hmm.
To go with, again, just going to read off a few names: Malik Neighbours, Jackson Dart, obviously first round picks. They had Abdul Carter last year on their defensive line. Um, they've just got so many first round picks, or had so many good first round picks, young players on rookie contracts. And like I say, if John Harbaugh can get some sort of tune out of them, they could do something. Jackson Dart's obviously their guy. I think now they're quite happy with him. He had a promising rookie season, played 14 games. I think the biggest issue for him is going to be staying out of the blue medical tent. I think he was having a bit of a moan about it in pre-season. He
Yeah.
went down or something and then ended up there. It's like, well, don't go down and look like you're injured. You won't end up in the medical tent. It's
Hmm.
quite straightforward. But if you need to go in the medical tent, you will. But Jackson Dart had a good good rookie year, I'd say. He had 2,272 yards, 63 percent completion rate, 15 touchdowns with 5 interceptions. So pretty decent, not horrendous,
No.
and a good solid start, I would say, to begin with. They've got a good run game. Well, they will have a good run game, I should say. They've brought in a couple of players from Baltimore with John Harbaugh. So Isaiah Likely, good tight end, good in the pass game, also good blocking tight end. And Patrick Ricard, fullback, who will help their run game no end with other running back Cam Scatterby, who is sort of everybody's sort of favourite non-team player because he just seems to be a complete character and will always be in the news for something. But had that hideous leg break in his rookie
Yeah.
season, but seems to have come back really well, which is great because you want to see young players on the pitch. So you expect their offense to be good this year. Another name that I saw on their depth chart when I was looking through it, and it is the year 2026, I will add, but this name is still on their depth chart. Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the year 2026, and Odell Beckham Jr. is playing football for the New York Giants. I just one of those kind of things you look at and like, wow. They will need to improve their defense. As per ESPN stats, we were looking at earlier, they ranked 28th in yards allowed. That's where they're going to need to improve.
Mm.
So outside of their first 2 picks, they actually took cornerback with pick 37 and also took Greg Newsome from Jacksonville. So they've obviously identified their secondary as an area that they want to improve, which will hopefully, for them anyway, improve that defense. Brian Burns was their kind of star man, 16 and a half sacks, second only to Myles Garrett. I mean, that's pretty incredible to be honest with you. On a team that had 4 wins, to be coming away with 16 and a half sacks is frightening numbers. But like I say, when you look at the names on their roster, you know, you've got the likes of Brian Burns, you've got Abdul Carter, who was top 3 pick, I think. You've got Kayvon Thibodeau still there. You've got the players I mentioned on the offense. This is a good roster, and I think if John Harbaugh can harness it, this is a team that can win games. How many? I don't know. We'll come on to that in a minute. New offensive coordinator Matt Nagy,
Mm-hmm.
who will be calling plays, from what I understand, didn't call them in Kansas, and favours the RPO game. So that will be good for a team that, with Jackson Dart's ability to
Yeah.
kind of, well, it puts a lot on Jackson Dart essentially, doesn't it? So his job is going to be made not more difficult, but John Harbaugh's job is going to have to be to try and get his quarterback up to speed with this offense as quickly as possible. And for a second-year player, that might be asking a lot. We don't know. But yeah, in terms of their schedule, there's winnable games there. They start off with some tricky games, but there's a stretch of 3 or 4 games I was looking earlier where they can definitely get wins. I think they play like the Cardinals, Tennessee, like in a stretch of games, and they'll be thinking they can get wins there. So I think this is a team that can win possibly 7 or 8 games this year.
Yeah.
I think long term, if Harbaugh can get this roster playing the way he wants and can utilise all that talent available to him, it's a team that could be challenging for a division title. I just don't think it'll be this year.
Yeah, so I mean, the main one question is how long does he give Jackson Dart? Because I mean, John Harborough, obviously, I've got to make sure I don't get him mixed up with Jim now.
Always do.
Yeah, he obviously come from the Ravens where he's used to working with Lamar. So obviously for the reason that Lamar is the best dual, in my opinion, the best dual threat QB in the league, the RPO worked brilliantly. Lamar, Derrick Henry, take your pick. So my problem with Jackson Dart is this is gonna sound so basic, but he's too he plays too emotionally.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Maybe, hey, listen, if I was the 6th-tier water boy on the Indianapolis Colts, my head would be in the clouds as well. So this is coming from someone who definitely couldn't use the mental pressure. But can he come down from being sky high, or boy, can he come to that middle? Can Harbour get into that middle ground of you're a great quarterback, you've made it to the league, you don't need to be doing high fives and bat flips with your mate Cam Scat all the time. You can just go out for a dinner. Do you, as silly as it sounds, can he bring in? Or it's New York, right? The stars, the lights, the headlines. There's the whole reason Eli Manning sat out of the Chargers because he wanted to go to New York because he had the discipline and the support around him. Now does Jackson Dart have the discipline and support to go, okay, yeah, I've made the league. I don't have to go charging headfirst into DeForest Buckner. Do you know what I mean? Can he not be that guy? Yeah, so how long do you think Harbour has the patience to deal with Jackson Dart?
I think it's a good question, and I think it's a valid point. It goes back to the point I was saying about him staying sort of out of the blue tent, because there was a lot of talk last year about him just not going down and taking unnecessary hits as well. What I would say is the New York Giants have one of the best backup quarterbacks in all of football in Jameis Winston. So I think any Sunday where Jameis Winston is playing football is a good Sunday for probably anybody who's not supporting the team that Jameis Winston is quarterbacking.
It's going to pat me on the back here. My biggest problem is Jackson Dart's consistent. Harrison's right. It's related. That is related to maturity and decision. Yeah, and like I said, listen, making the league is the dream for all. Anyone who goes through, sort of like us, we want to make the Premier League. When we're a 7-year-old, we want to go and play for England, don't we? When they're a 7-year-old, they want to go and play in the NFL. And he's made it, he's done it, and he had fun in his first year because there was no pressure to win because, let's be honest, he knew he wouldn't be the first to go. It would be Brian Doyball. He would be the first to go. So the pressure wasn't on him to go and win the Super Bowl. But now you've got a big boy head coach in the room. Now you've got a serious elite head coach in the room who, that's the third RPO pass you've missed in one drive. Sit down. And if you want to whinge and bitch and moan about it, you're gone. Harbours are not known for being cuddly and that. It's business always.
I think it's a really interesting point as well because Jackson Dart was very much a Daboll pick. If we go back to that draft, they came back into the first round to get him, and it would the talk was that it was Daboll that was desperate to. He really wanted him. He's not Harbour's man, so. No. It's not that he's not got that same connection. Obviously, he will want to make it work because you've got a rookie quarterback. He's a first-round pick. You're not going to give up on it that quickly, are you, Shane Steichen? But no, it is an interesting point. And if as much as I said the Giants can be good, and you'd like to think with the amount of talent they have on that roster, they could be a very good football team. If they're not, we all know, all the talk is already about the 2027 draft class being a very good one for quarterbacks. Is that something they might look at? I don't know. I think Jackson Dart gets a fair crack at it. And if not, you've got Jameis Winston. So it's all fun, isn't it?
Yeah. My last question: Malik Neighbours.
Yeah, he's still not back, is he? I was trying
No,
to. That's a
he's
big one because they only had one receiver that went for over 1,000 yards last year, which is Wan'Dale Robinson, who has now left and joined Tennessee. So
Mhm.
getting Malik Neighbours back healthy is sort of imperative for them. I think they did draft a wide receiver with pick 74 it was. They took Malachi Fields. I
Okay.
mentioned they've got Odell Beckham Jr., obviously rolling back the years.
Mhm.
Um, and they've also taken, or they've also got Braxton Berrios, who I think was at Houston last year, but was at Miami before then. But he's not. He's not like a. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a
A
big
needle thing.
name. You know,
Yeah.
he's not like a Keenan Allen or a Alec Pierce type guy. Uh, so yeah, I think getting Malik Neighbours back is absolutely huge, and not just getting him back, but ACL injuries are,
It's
you
tough,
know,
Matt. Like, it, I think athlete. The problem is athletes make it look easy to come back from something like that,
mm,
don't they? Like Daniel Jones has made breaking a leg and fracturing a fibula and losing one
yeah,
foot and getting shot in the arm. He's made it look like he can come back from it. And yeah, it's now 7 months, but everyone's
yeah,
different, and it's just not easy mentally
and
as well
that's
to come back from that.
100% mentally is a huge part of it. You're absolutely right, but you don't know you don't know what effect it's going to have on his game, do you? His speed, his explosiveness, his jumping, there's all these things that it can
Exactly.
affect. So, yeah, I think him coming back is imperative to them having a good season. Um, but yeah, I think the Giants can win football games, definitely. I just think that maybe this might be a year too soon, if that makes sense.
Yes, of course. Uh, so on to the Eagles. My feeling with the Eagles is obviously they kept Nick Sirianni because why wouldn't you? Um, he's done the Eagles great. They won 2 Super Bowls under him.
And I think they've won one, but they've been to at least two Super Bowls under him. They've won one, lost one, I think, possibly.
Yeah,
But they've definitely
for
won at least one, yeah.
for 6 years that's a good
Oh,
return
100%, yeah.
realistically.
Yeah,
I'd take the
100%.
playoffs once in 6 years, but they did obviously go and get a new offensive coordinator, Sean Mannion.
Yeah.
Um, Now, my thing with this is obviously when you're an elite team franchise at the moment, you get picked off for coaches, head coaches, offensive coordinators. But this is their fifth offensive coordinator in 5 seasons.
Hmm.
That can't be great for offensive stability, and maybe that's why we're starting to see the cracks show. So my first sort of like point to put to you, Ed, we obviously know Nick Sirianni from his time in Indy.
Hmm.
Um, is he sustainable?
Yeah, it's a good point because he's a very combustible man, isn't he? You can see that.
Mm.
I think he demands an awful lot. I don't know. I think obviously some of the offensive coordinators, like you say, they've been picked off. We've obviously got one at the moment.
Yeah,
Shane Steichen was OC when they got to the Super Bowl. So you expect a bit of natural turnover. I think it has been attributed to more to Jalen Hurts, and the issue it kind of causes him that I think this is like his fifth. Like in every year he's been in the NFL, I think he's had a different offensive coordinator, and you're right, to
yeah.
get any kind of stability there is difficult. Yeah, you do have to look at head coach to a certain extent. Um, a bit like your point with the Commanders, are they chucking? Is he chucking other people under the bus for? Do you know what I
First
mean?
kid.
For their own failures, ultimately you get paid the big bucks as the head coach, so the buck should stop with you. But there seems to be a lot of turnover in Philadelphia all the time in terms of coordinators. So yeah, I think it's a good point, mate. Yeah, there's definitely something in it.
Yeah. Sean Mannion, if again, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Um, he's a bit of an old school offensive coordinator. He wants to be tough minded, high standard culture, whatever that means. That's his sort of like comment. He's going to rely on the tush push still, which I mean, you've got to rely on your strengths. You have to play to your strengths, or like stupid. And until teams work out that you can stop the tush push just by doing a tush push the other way, teams are going to start doing it. Like, just going to keep doing it. They're sort of relying on familiarity in the roster. There's not been any they've made a couple of moves, but there's not been any massive moves. Like, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Sort of vibes, Barkley, Hurts, Smith. They obviously got rid of AJ Brown. He went to
New England.
So he's trying to keep the good apples together. I say good apples like I know what's going on in the locker room, but he's trying to keep his mate around, his yes men around, to try and keep that sort of continuity. The one move I did like, what they made was they went back up in the first, I believe, to get Mekhi Lemon. I think this kid's got plenty of potential to be an outstanding wide receiver. The one sort of staple, which I'm glad they have done, maybe not from a competitive point of view, but for an Eagles fan, they've kept Vic Fangio. I know Nathan likes Vic Fangio and speaks highly of him. I think he's one of the better DCs, and I'm surprised he's not got a head coaching job out of this year.
Might be his age. It's quite old, isn't he?
Could be his age. Could be he wants to stay there. Lots of things going. He might be settled now. Yeah. So maybe they could be relying on a bit of we're going to score more than you approach, or we're going to keep holding the ball longer than you have it approach, which it can work. It can also go southbound very quickly, no pun intended. Pun definitely intended. I'll make that up. Like I've got it written down about 6 times, so I didn't forget to get it in. I think this could be a good year for the Eagles. I really do. I think I as much as I hate Nick Sirianni, I think I like him. Do you know what I mean? I hate to love him because I personally think the Colts made a mistake letting him go. But it was what it was at the time. He was the next thing up, and he's obviously proved he's worth going winning a Super Bowl. Listen, when you've got Sirianni, Hurts, Smith, and Barkley, you've got a chance to score 50 points. You've also got a chance to concede 30-odd points. So I feel like they're going to win a lot of games, but it could be one of them. It's a race to 30 points. And if they get there first, they're fine. But I've got them at 12 wins.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just, like I say, a soft spot for Sirianni because he's a bit of a nutcase and he was once on our sideline. But I don't know. Something just feels like familiar, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. What do you think, though, because obviously you're absolutely right with Sirianni. He's almost like box office in terms of him, as in just him on his own, isn't he? Because he is so combustible, and he's the kind of bloke that would start an argument locked in a room on his own, with no one else in there. He is that kind of character.
Yeah.
If things don't go to plan this year, obviously we know what Philly fans can be like, the fans that famously boo Santa Claus. Do you see him surviving the year if they have an off year, and by an off year, by the way, they've won the division 2 years in a row. They've won the Super Bowl year before last. They're a playoff team year after year.
Yeah.
I'm saying if things go wrong and it looks like they're going to miss the playoffs, do you see Sirianni sort of survive it? What do you see? Do you see any kind of drama?
So my headline for the Eagles was, on my notes, has it run its course?
Interesting.
He is not a Tomlin who can calm the fans, get them back on side, get them ready to go again. He's a live by the sword, die by the sword NFL head coach. You get him all the time. It just happens. Sometimes it works out, and unfortunately for Sirianni, he's not. Dan Campbell, when he took over the Lions, was a bit like that. He's like, yeah, we're gonna bite knees and snap necks or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was,
But he sort of realised, well, actually, if I keep going up, there's only a quick way down. So he sort of realised, okay, I need to bring this back in a bit. The fans can't be at 100 all the time because, like you say, when you do lose one, when you go to your fans, yeah, look, we're going to smash everyone in the mouth. We're Philadelphia, we're the city of brotherly love, and we like to boo Santa Claus and punch orphans. I don't know what Philadelphia would be. When you're like that, it's hard to then go, well, you've lost. You've just been pumping us up for a week, like bad-mouthing the Patriots and how you're going to smash them, and you've just lost 31-3. And then, like you say, all of a sudden, well, fans go, maybe he peaked. Maybe that Super Bowl was all he could do. Maybe he can't take the next step and sustain it. I think that's what, as fans, we underestimate all the time, is to sustain success in any elite sport is the real separation
skill.
Of good and great. You know what I mean?
Couldn't agree more.
Pep Guardiola, probably going to go down as the greatest coach of all time because he could sustain his success. Lewis Hamilton, probably going to go down as the greatest F1 driver of all time because he could sustain his success. The guys who have won one title, they're going to be remembered. Of course they are, and they're going to definitely be remembered by their fans. But is Sirianni in a spot where fans are going to go, well, yeah, he won us a Super Bowl, but it turned sour and it ended bad.
Do you know what it makes me think of when you said that about has it run its course? Instantly, I think it's because I've just watched a documentary on Netflix, to be fair. It made me think of Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
He goes in, you get that success, but it's so intense that you can't keep up with that intensity for a long period of time because players just stop responding to it, don't they, after a while? Because you can't keep it going.
Yeah. No, I forgot Mourinho's name, but I don't forget his name. I forgot the example, let's say. But Jose Mourinho is the perfect comparison to Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
But go on.
No, I was just going to say, I don't want to talk about that type of football, but as soon as you said it, it's what came into my head because Mourinho is famous, isn't he, for going in, literally beating everybody up, going mental, win a trophy, and then going, because it all falls apart. And that's a really interesting way of looking at it with Sirianni because he is so intense all of the time. You just think to yourself, man, have a cup of tea and chill.
Stop drinking massive coffees and just have a water. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. You don't have to have pre-workout to go to a team meeting. It's fine.
Exactly, and you do wonder if at some point, and look, certain cities and certain teams, I'm certainly not I don't want to talk on behalf of the city of Philadelphia because it's not for me to say, but certain characters fit certain teams, don't they? And you could say Sirianni definitely fits that team, that intensity, but my word, it must be difficult. And as players, how can you live at that intensity for that long? And I think you're so right with the longevity piece. That's what separates the greatest.
Yeah. But like I say, best case scenario, I can't get in 12 wins.
Yeah, so I just hear a massive ringing noise in my house. I'm trying to work out what it is.
It's Sirianni.
Yeah, it's like it sounded like a Viking horn. I was like, geez, he's coming for me. He's heard me slagging him off.
He's watching.
It's right, Nick. I'm Italian heritage too, mate. We're on the same team. We're on the same team. Please don't come for me. Cool. All right. Well, we'll move on. I'll move on to Dallas then.
Yeah.
Round it out with America's team as Jerry's quest for Super Bowl number 4, which he's been waiting for a very long time, begins again. So the Dallas Cowboys went 7-9-1 last year. They had a mad game with the Green Bay Packers. Yeah. Well, this is an Indianapolis like when I was looking at their games from last year, this is Indianapolis all over. They lost to the Carolina Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals and beat the Eagles and the Chiefs. So like,
Work that one out.
I mean, talk about a bipolar team that just couldn't figure itself out. I mean, it really is a tale of two halves with the Dallas Cowboys. Not two halves of a season like the Colts, where they were good first half, crap second half. I'm talking about two halves of the ball. The offense was good, and I mean really quite good, and the defense was bad, and I mean really quite bad, and that was basically what held them back. So when I looked, I knew you know when you know that anyway, looking at teams, but when you look at the actual stats, so their offense in yards per game last year per ESPN were actually second. Their defense in yards allowed were 30th. So that gives you an idea of where their problems sort of lay. And they've taken a lot, and they've done a lot to address that in the off-season, to be fair, and going right back to the Micah Parsons trade at about this time last year. Where that blockbuster deal when they got rid of Micah Parsons and everyone was like, what's Jerry doing? And Jerry, in Jerry's world, just does what Jerry wants to do because, you know, that's what he does. But they have completely... You what, sorry?
They just didn't want to pay him any money. It's like, no.
Well, yeah.
That's my money.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. But since then, they have completely revamped the defence. Obviously, they got Kenny Clark came as part of the Micah Parsons deal. They then traded for Quinnen Williams from the New York Jets. They signed Von Miller this off-season, who's coming back for one last hurrah at the age of, I don't know how old he is, but he must be 34, 35 by now. Rashawn Gary's come across from Green Bay as well, and they also drafted two defensive players with their two first-round picks this year, taking Caleb Downs, who will become the second best Downs brother in the NFL this year, and Malachi Lawrence, an edge rusher, with pick 23. So they've clearly identified where the issue is, and I think there's a lot of hopes for Caleb Downs in general. Obviously, joking about him being the second best, as we know he is Josh Downs' younger brother. But there's a lot of hope for him coming into the league. I know a lot of people have spoken very highly of him, and there's a lot of talk about taking a safety that high, but a player with his ability kind of breaks the mould in terms of positional value, if that makes sense, and it was worth taking him. Well, yeah, they desperately needed him. So no surprise after what I just said about their defense is they changed their defensive coordinator. Matt Eberflus has gone. I told you that.
Oh, shock.
Yeah. I think when I was doing my research earlier, and it said, and I was like, he's gone. And then I read an article and it said Matt Eberflus worst defense in history. I was like, oh, what year is this article? Because you could write that for pretty much any year. But, yeah,
Jerry Jones, I could have saved you millions and told you that. You should have done me up.
100%. So got a new defensive coordinator who's come from the Philadelphia Eagles. Incidentally, he was their defensive backs and passing coordinator coach last year. So a big step up for him, and it looks like he's also going to be calling plays. So that's a real big step up.
They must like him.
100%, yeah, absolutely. Because realistically, this is a team that if they can sort that defense out, with how good the offense is, don't forget. Look, Dak Prescott, in my opinion, gets a lot of eye rolls when you talk about Dak Prescott, but you would comfortably say he's easily one of the top 10 quarterbacks. You could make case for him being top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. Easily a top 10. I mean, he's paid number 1, so he should be. Let's have it right. He's paid enough money. And last year, again, his stats were good. 4,552 yards, 67 completion rate, 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, which has always been an issue, I suppose, for him. You got two very good wide receivers in CD Lamb and George Pickens. George Pickens has been franchise tagged for this year, so he's going to be, playing for a contract. Both of them went for over 1,000 yards last year. They've got a good tight end whose name completely escapes me now. Damn it, I'll have to come back to that. Good tight end. I just wrote that down. And they've got, in my opinion, one of the best kickers in the league in Brandon Aubrey, who used to play in the MLS apparently, or like lower league, like that kind of football. I refuse to use the S word. And then moved to becoming an NFL kicker afterwards. But he's very good and very consistent. So the Dallas Cowboys, Jake Ferguson, thank you, Dave. Thank you, man. I wanted to say Terrence. I don't know where I got that name from, but doesn't matter. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. But either way, the Dallas offense is good, sorry, as well as going with that. You've got the receivers, you've got Jake Ferguson, who I rate as a very good tight end. Do need to sort their run game out, which has been an issue for them for the last few years. Their offensive line could be very good. They've got 3 first-round picks on there. 3 of them all called Tyler as well. So I'm going to rename them Team Tyler for the year for this season. But yeah, they've been speaking, as they always do, about, this has been the year that they're finally going to get back to the NFC Championship. They're finally going to get back to a Super Bowl. We talk about pressure in Indianapolis a lot and the urgency to win, but I really do think with Jerry that urgency is there. He's desperate to bring another Super Bowl to the Dallas Cowboys. They've got a tough schedule this year, very tough schedule actually, for a team that finished second in their division, but I'm going to nail my flag to the mast. I think Dallas Cowboys could be a very, very, very good team this year. They've not been in an NFC Championship game since 1995. I don't know if they're good enough to get there this year, but this, in my opinion, is very much a playoff team.
Do you want to hear my hot take?
Go on.
I don't think they make the playoffs.
Wow. That's cool. That's interesting.
I don't think they made the playoffs. I don't know if I actually agree with me on hot take at the minute, but
no.
I'll say it now, and I'll come back to when they knock the Colts out of when they beat the Colts in the Super Bowl. Then I'll just come back to this clip and play it on sad repeat. But no, so my problem is sports is never linear.
No,
it's just not linear. And when I was talking about the Eagles before and how I feel like they're going for we're going to score more than you approach, the Cowboys tried that last year, and I sort of think, I agree, Dak Prescott, top 10, top 5, not for me. Maybe it's just style of quarterback, but top 10, I'm happy to say that. Maybe his stats were great because he was on the ball so much. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say they're a 4-13 team. They're just not. I think it's going to come down. I think the problem is, it's going to come down to head to head for the NFC last playoff spots. So I've got Philadelphia winning, and then I've got maybe New York even sneaking a second. Wow. Maybe. Maybe New York sneaking a second. Maybe because I think John Harbaugh can bring it all together. Maybe. Mm-hmm. I think it's just going to be one of them. It's going to be they're in, they're out. They're in every week. They're in, they're out. Do you know? We've been in these situations where it's like the Colts have a 50% chance to make the playoffs.
Oh, God.
And then you just lose, and
we had a 97% chance at one point.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like I'm hating, and I just think there's going to be a bubble in the NFC where there's four, like there always is. There's going to be 4 or 5 teams fighting for them last sort of wild card spots, and someone's telling me that they're not going to get in. Like I say, sports isn't linear. I don't expect their defense all of a sudden to go phew, top 5, and whilst they've got great pieces on the offense, Dak Prescott worries me because I feel he is that quarterback who, and I think maybe you're right. Maybe he gets a bit more stick than others because I think Josh Allen gets away with murder sometimes because he's Josh Allen. So maybe he does get a bit more stick than others, but I still think he's he tries to be Superman, and when quarterbacks learn they don't have to be Superman, they become so much better. And I can just see him throwing, say, 10, 15 interceptions. You look at 10 of them and you go, you are a veteran. What did you see there? And like you say, he's being paid number 1.
Yeah.
So, that's my hot take. I like I say, I think they will get in, maybe not, but I think it's going to be one of them. It's going to go down to the wire, and it's a horrible feeling because we've been there so many times. It just
Oh,
the
yeah.
results don't go your way. You know, the teams that you need to win don't win. The teams you need to lose win, and you're just like, how does God hate me right now? Because the ball bounces off the off right. So I just don't see him making the playoffs. But again, that's my hot take.
No, it's not. Yeah, and I think you're absolutely valid in what you're saying, and you've justified and explained it very well. I think the thing with Dak, because I agree with what you're saying, I think the problem with Dak versus Josh Allen, for example, is Dak Prescott plays for the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. The scrutiny level
Oh yeah,
um,
of course, yeah.
it is so much higher, and the expectation and the pressure when you're playing for what is effectively the most what is it, the most valuable sporting franchise in the world, isn't it? The
Hmm.
Dallas Cowboys. They're a
One
massive,
of, yeah.
massive institution. Um, yeah, I hear your points. I think they're valid. I just think that this is a team that if they can get that, and look, a lot of it does rest on can they sort that defense out because it was horrendous last year, and that held them back, no doubt. But if they can sort that defense out, I think this is a good team.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I say, if you are that Prescott, you are playing for a very polarizing franchise. Is probably the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
You either love or hate the Dallas Cowboys.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Everyone's sort of nobody. Okay, people will hate the Buffalo Bills, but
I know what you
the
mean.
neutral fan doesn't hate the Buffalo Bills. The neutral fan hates the Dallas Cowboys.
But the neutral fan probably hasn't heard, or the casual fan won't know as much about the Buffalo Bills as they would about the Dallas
Exactly. Yeah.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
If you don't know anything about the NFL, you've probably still heard of the Dallas Cowboys,
Hmm.
but you're unlikely to have heard of the Buffalo Bills.
Exactly. Right. So we'll wrap up with our standings, how we think the division's going to finish, and then just a bit of Colts talk to end out. So, Dave, thanks for watching again. And it's Colts talk, and maybe not Daniel Jones, so you can tune out. Uh, um, but the standings. So I'll go quickly. I've got Commanders, I've got the Cowboys, I've got the Giants, and then I've got the Eagles. And you can gladly come back to me and give me shit when it finishes completely the reverse way around. Ed?
So my order is Commanders fourth, New York Giants third, Philadelphia second, and I've got Dallas Cowboys winning the division.
Wow.
So that is a bit of a hot take there, I suppose.
Well, let's see what the Cowboys is their fans or morons. This year's our year. Um, so anyway, like I said, that was our road trip around the NFC East. Some hot takes, some average takes, and some bang in the middle takes. No bad takes on there because we don't do bad takes. Southbound. Uh, watch the Cowboys go 17-0.
Oh, I don't think it'll be that good, but
But anyway, the Colts. Shall we talk about the big news coming out of Indianapolis? Ed, we have a uniform.
oh yeah, the rivalries jersey. Yeah, you weren't too keen on it, were you?
I want to see it on the field because I wasn't too keen on the Indiana Knights jersey at first.
No,
But then
no,
I seen it on the field. I don't like the helmet. I still don't like the helmet for the Indiana Knights. I think it's stupid. But I like the shirt. I like the blue helmet.
yeah,
When I first saw it, in my mind, the grey was a lot lighter than what I was thinking.
yeah, I know what you mean.
And then I saw it in video. I was like, actually, the grey's a bit darker, and it looks. I just thought when I saw the grey, it looked a bit like the. Was it the Lions alternate jersey?
Yes,
And I was just like, my sort of problem is, or what I'm getting to is, it felt unimaginative.
yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I like the horseshoe on the side, great touch, but it's like, with Indianapolis, we have the Speedway. Can we not do something like the Pacers do? So many good uniforms. I was like, could it not have been a bit more just like, I didn't think it popped enough for like, we're the Colts jerseys. Like, I suppose the NFL relies a lot on tradition and like classical looks. Like you're gonna get blue and white most times, and red and white and green and white. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit tougher, but I don't think I hated it. I was just a bit underwhelmed.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's valid. I I I, I like it. I wouldn't say like it's not one that I'm going to be. I'm not rushing out to buy it. If that
Yeah,
makes sense. I thought it was nice. I agree with what you're saying about the grey. I thought they could have done it a slightly. I don't know. It felt yeah. I don't know. I think they could have done more with it, but I don't hate it. I like it. It's all right. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm just like I win some, just win some games.
yeah. And lastly, I guess this is Well, it's not breaking news, but it's news. The Pro Bowl has been cancelled.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank fuck.
yeah. Do you know what? The only thing I'd say, like, obviously, like everybody, I couldn't really care. But I quite liked it last couple of years. I didn't do it last year, but last couple of years when they did their games, like threw the ball into the targets and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
liked what like my little boy liked watching those, like because
yeah.
it was a bit more fun.
Mhm.
But I'm not bothered about it going. No, I don't think anybody cares, do they?
I think the problem is it's marketed wrong. Like you say, the games, they're great fun, great laugh. Like the QB competitions, they could
Yeah,
do running back competitions, wide receiver. They can throw all sorts of games out there which would be interesting and fun. And we know no one's taking it seriously, but they still try and dress it up as serious. And it's like,
yeah.
and I want to say I saw an article from fucking talkshy.com, Talksport, who I just fucking despise. Um, the Super Bowl is cancelled because of Shador Sanders,
What?
which is just now. Should Shador Sanders made the Pro Bowl last year? No, absolutely not. Um, just a quick one from Dave. He likes the grey and blue. Yeah, don't hate the uniform. But like I said, I need to see it in person. Man. So anyway, back to what's talking about. So now there's 2 points to this I want to make. Is we've always been player welfare, and we've tried not to be clickbait. We've tried not to engage in that sort of just absolute shite. Um, it's either not so sinister in what they've put in. They're just trying to get clicks, or two, there's a really horrible, sinister undertone to that. Um, which I hope it's not. I hope it's the first. To be honest, I went on the article. It just looked like a AI generated piece of crap article. It had about like 4 different paragraphs, which were just statements, and it's like had nothing to do with Shador Sanders. So
Are they trying to basically say that it lost its relevance because you had so many sort of backups and sort of people like where people would drop out and then like they'd have their backup and their backup and obviously Shador Sanders and what they've done is they've just taken the biggest name that will generate
I'm hoping
clicks
so.
for them and put it on
I'm
there
hoping that's what they've done. That's the
because
less sinister thing. What I'm hoping they've done, but
yeah
the sort of
because
vibe of it is when we've seen so much like hate and like toxicity in the world, and especially what's happened recently over here. I won't go into it because this is not a political podcast, but it's just like he's a young lad who's trying to make his way in the NFL, fighting for his life to try and leave some sort of legacy to. And he's never going to read that article, but it would get clipped, it would get tweeted, it would get reposted, it would get tagged because they know that's what will happen. And you just never know. It's just fucking stupid. But the Pro Bowl was always crap. Let's be real. The Pro Bowl was always crap.
I don't think the players are going to be sad to see it go, are they?
No, but
No.
in my opinion, the NFL should just have like you say, just have a piss up weekend. That's clearly what it is. Invite everyone, have a barbecue, have a cookout. The players have worked hard to get there. Why do they have to make the Pro Bowl? Just what I would
Yeah.
say, it could have a big implication on contracts and bonuses and signings and
Well, I
money.
suppose that's it, isn't it? It's like, do you still get the recognition of being a Pro Bowler without actually having a Pro Bowl to go to, or does it become? I saw somebody say earlier, just call it like a third All Pro team.
Yeah, you could
You
do
know, are
that.
you because the player, like you say, if players are basing their contract negotiations on I'm a three-time Pro Bowler or
All of a sudden, it means nothing.
exactly, yeah. So yeah, that I suppose will need to be ironed out. But the actual event itself, I don't think is going to be missed too much, is it?
No, no, I don't think so. But anyway, that is about it for today's show. Oh, God, an hour and five. We could talk forever, especially about football. I'd just like to thank Dave for joining us and being a massive supporter of the show. Go and check out Final Down Podcast. Ed, I appreciate your time and thank you. For those who are bored and are wanting some sort of American football to watch, college football does start this weekend, I believe, on Saturday. DAZN are now charging a fortune a month because you have to have the premium package if you want to watch college football as well as NFL, because evil corporations and Eddie Hearn can go and fuck himself. But Ed, I believe if you are part of the evil corporation like me, Disney, you can watch some college football on there for free if you have a subscription.
Yeah, Disney have got access to some of the games because of their time with ESPN. So I'm assuming if the game's through ESPN, they'll have selected games. So the Aer Lingus Classic, which is UNC and TCU this Saturday in Ireland, will be live on Disney Plus at 5 o'clock. So yeah, that's if you've got Disney Plus, you will be able to watch some college football.
And Dave wants to keep us a bit longer. Sorry, one quick question: is Danny Dimes fully fit to start the season? Achilles is brutal injury to come back from.
God, Dave, man, coming to you. We've got like another half hour now. On me talking about Achilles injuries. Jeez.
Dave, the last quarterback that I thought was fully fit to start the season was Andrew Luck. So that's all I'm gonna say.
He is meant to be. He is officially ready to go. He's not playing pre-season this weekend. He will be ready to go week 1. He's been cleared to play all season, hasn't he? He's been moving, running freely. Let's see how he handles his first contact. Is all I'm going to say. He's medically cleared to play, in answer to your question, but I am very sceptical because it's such a quick recovery from a horrendous injury.
Just get ready for Shane Steichen to go pass for the first 15 plays of the drive and get him absolutely killed again. But like I say, college football this Saturday, check it out if you're bored. Guys, join us next week when officially will be 1 week away from the start of the season.
I think so. Or yeah, we will be. Yeah.
Are you not entertained, guys? Let's go.